I'm Candy. Yes, that's actually my name. Multi-six-figure entrepreneur, business energetics, and personal branding mentor, and your permission slip to go way bigger than you've been told possible. This is not just some hot girl spiritual chats. This is big C energy. So buckle up because the vibe, all spice, no sugar. Let's get into it. Welcome back to another episode on the Don't Sugarcoat It podcast. I am your host, Candy, your no-nonsense confectionaire, delivering you all the spice when it comes to building a scalable and spiritual 6+ figure business. Let's get into today's episode. I want to give you 7 things to never do when building a personal brand online, right? So this is something that I think is super important to talk into because there's a few things that I want to speak into today. And I was like, how do I condense this into one, how can I talk about this in one episode? So I was like, I'm just going to talk about all of them because I want to talk about all of them. So we're just going to do it in this episode. I think these are super important things that I see people doing in the industry that is harming their personal brand. And I want to just speak my truths and share with you what I think is really important when building a personal brand, specifically when it comes to being a coach in the entrepreneurial space. So I have scaled my business from 0 to multi-six figures in 12 months. And majority of that came around really marrying my identity and positioning my brand as super, super valuable, right? From the get-go, I was hosting premium events. And from that space, I was able to create a personal identity and a personal brand identity with high value, premium, big C energy, right? And when it comes to my content, I have high standards, and I'm sure even my podcast manager is like, we've got high standards here. And something that I love teaching my clients is hold the standard, release the expectation. So this is what I want you to think about when building a personal brand. What is the standard that I'm holding for myself? Anyway, let's get into it. You know the drill, all spice, no sugar. This is going to be 7 things to never do when building a personal brand that actually makes you money with content creation. Let's get into it. So number 1, let's start here. But before I do, I just want to make this point. Some of you are out here, posting carousels and calling it a brand. No one buys because no one fucking feels you, all right? If you've been building a personal brand to be liked, you've already lost the game. This isn't about being pretty, aesthetic, professional, or consistent even. It's about being fucking unforgettable. So here are my tips. Number 1, never post just to be consistent, right? If your content has no clarity, it has no cohesiveness, it has no conviction, no energy, no one cares that you are showing up. No one fucking cares what you're talking about. Even if you're being consistent and you're like, yeah, I'm doing the thing, I'm posting twice a day, every single day. If it's not cohesive and delivers value or positions you as someone to work with and solves your client's solutions, no one gives a fuck what you're here to talk about. All right? If it's just surface level stuff. If you're posting from a place of, I'm just posting this to be consistent, like there's a part of your journey where, yes, you absolutely need to post consistently every single day to get in the momentum of being a consistent, to have a consistent brand presence online. But that doesn't mean that you just post anything willy-nilly. And something that I teach my clients to help with this, because I know this is something that a lot of early entrepreneurs struggle with, is the consistency of posting every single day and what to post every single day. And this is something that I navigated through myself, of being like, I wasn't posting consistently, and in my mind that created this overwhelm of I didn't know what to post. And what happens is the more that you don't post, the more overwhelmed you get about what to post. So first we need to break through that cycle and start posting, but it is so important to ensure that when you are posting consistently, that you are posting the same message, the solution, the brand presence. So there is a cohesiveness. When people come onto your account, they know instantly what you're here to do, what solution you solve, right? And something that I teach my clients to help with this is create an album on your phone, in your photo albums, and put a whole heap of videos and a whole heap of photos in there. And what you're going to do is these are simple B-roll videos, like just good, 5 to 20-second videos that you can snip up and put into a reel. And what you're going to do is you're going to write down 3 things that you identify your brand as, like 3 words, right? These are called your content pillars. Put down 3 words that basically explain or have an overarching effect of what your business is about, right? And every day when you go to create a piece of content, and every time you create a piece of content, making sure that you just go into that photo album where all those videos are, match it with an audio, and create a piece of content that is solving your client's problem using one of the words that you wrote down as your content pillars. If you do that every time you post, you're going to build a consistent and cohesive brand identity over time. And Gary Vee says this. He says, if you can solve your client's solution in a one single piece of content and consistently do that, you have $1 million brand. That's how simple it actually is to build a cohesive brand identity. So never post just to be consistent, but post consistently with a cohesive and convicted message. That is number 1. Number 2, never rely on aesthetics to make you relevant. Okay? You can't be the prettiest girl on the block, right? You can't have the prettiest grid. That's what I mean. You can have the prettiest grid, but you can still be broke, okay? And I've seen this so many times. I've had clients that have come to work with me who have tens of thousands of followers, yet their bank account and their audience engagement is nearly half of what some of my clients do, and they've got a few thousand followers. So you can look great, but that doesn't mean that you're making money. That doesn't mean that you've got a hot and engaging audience. So whilst aesthetics is something that I love and I really value having an aesthetic personal brand, and it's very important for brand positioning and professionalism, just because it looks good doesn't mean it's going to make you money, right? You're not building a Pinterest board, okay? You're building a brand. And in order to build a cohesive and a strong brand, there needs to be movement. There needs to be a message. There needs to be, this is a solution to your problem. So your clients and your audience identify you as the person to go to when they need a specific solution or when they need a specific problem solved. Number 3, never rely on working harder to make more money. Okay, this is about debunking the hustle culture and the bro marketing lifestyle. Okay, and I fell victim to this. Okay, and sometimes because I am the hustler archetype and the overachiever, it's so easy and natural for me to fall into the belief of like, okay, I just need to work more to make more money. And if you haven't already listened to the episode with Rebecca, where we spoke a lot about money energetics, because she had an incredible perspective of this on how to actually shift out of the hustle culture and how to really become more magnetic in who you're being. And just because you're working more doesn't mean you're making more money. Something that she said that I really loved was, if people made money by working harder, then the people in the defense force would make the most amount of money. The people in the hospitality industry would make the most amount of money. People in the nursing industry and the health industry would make more money because they work way harder, theoretically. But the reality is, if you're trading time for money, you're losing the game. It's about trading value for money and being in the energetic frequency of magnetism to money. So effort doesn't necessarily equal income. Energetics, identity, and aligned visibility scales you, not burnout. And I know this because it's something that I've had to work on myself, right? I was in the hustle era last year, and yes, it helped me get the plane off the ground to scale my business to something that is sustainable. And now I get to experience creation from an aligned place and creating from an abundant state, rather than I need to create this in order to make more money. So 10-hour Canva days, we're getting rid of them, okay? And we're definitely not doing content loops that absolutely go nowhere. All right. Number 4, never expect a strategy to make you successful. The same strategy in different hands gets completely different results, right? And why do you think that is? Because one person is energetically tapped in, is creating from magnetism overflow, from abundance, is working, on their mindset and being grateful and future pacing, all the things, compared to someone who is operating out of a place of fear, out of scarcity, out of shame, out of I need to do this in order to achieve that. You can apply the same strategy to two people and yield completely different results. Why? Because one person is working in alignment, the other person is working out of force. This is why it's so important to implement energetics into content creation, into building a personal brand. Because if you are not working consistently on your energetics, you're going to continue to perpetuate and loop the same results over and over again. Success doesn't come from the plan. It comes from the person executing it. And this is super important to speak into, because the faster that you can identify as the person that you desire to become and start acting like her and start making decisions like her, that is how you are going to shift. Irregardless of what strategy you're implementing. To be completely honest, when I was scaling my business to 6 figures, from 0 to 6 figures, I had absolutely no fucking strategy. No strategy. I was literally operating out of soul. When I received an idea or received a download, I implemented it. I just did the thing, and I was implementing my download so quickly that I didn't have time to think and fear and second guess myself. I just had to act faster, and that's what allowed me to scale so quickly. There was no strategy behind that. It was kind of like a chaotic mess most of the time. Yeah, I knew that I had to do that, and I had so much conviction in myself, so much belief in myself. And I wouldn't have had that conviction and self-belief had I not done the energetics work before it, right? There is literally no strategy in that. But now that I have built my business to this place, and now that I help other female entrepreneurs scale their businesses to 10K months using personal branding, content creation, and energetics, I now see the patterns of what allows someone to shift rapidly into that 6-figure identity than those who don't. And the reality is, it's two things. One, they're creating from the future and they're identifying as the version of themselves and making decisions from that place, right? It is a strategy, but at the same time, there is no specific strategy. I can't tell you a 10 step-by-step process. I can definitely have you connect to her and have you receive the information from her and have you fully, become, plug into that energetic vessel and become that person. But I'm not going to be able to write that down and be like, this is a step-by-step process. Because at the end of the day, if that was the case and you could literally take a step-by-step process and implement it into your business, then everyone would be successful. Everyone would live the freedom lifestyle. Everyone would have that online business, right? But the reality is, it's not that simple. So if you're looking for a strategy to solve your problem, you are already losing, and you will never reach a level of success that you truly desire by outsourcing what is required to be implemented in your business with a strategy. Strategy helps, absolutely, but it's not going to be the reason why you become a successful entrepreneur. And this is perfect to lead into number 5. Never assume that templates will build your brand. If AI can say it and 100 other coaches are posting it, why would anyone follow you? Think about it. If AI can duplicate exactly what you're saying online, and any other coach can copy what you're posting, why would anyone follow you specifically? Why would anyone choose you over someone else? You're not here to blend in, you're here to disrupt. Templates are great for reference sake, and these templates, I give my clients templates to help them start to think in that way and in that process. But something that I'm really, really strong on when I work with my clients is, this is an example and this is a guide. Do not expect this to give you results, because at the end of the day, if you're using my template and copying it word by word, you're just copying me. And that is not you. Originality is a new currency. Authenticity is what builds personal brands. And you can use templates to help guide you and to help override the overthinking. If you're stuck in an overthinking vortex, templates help to give you that backbone, that foundation, and that formula to take all of the confusion and all of the information that's flooding through your mind right now and to put it into place and to actually create it from here and into a tangible piece of content, into a tangible podcast episode, into a tangible event, right? So and templates are here to make your life easier, but same thing as the AI conversation. They're here to make your life easier, but they're not here to replace your role. They're not here to replace your voice, replace your essence or your energy. That like doing that is just going to have you fall into blending in and how it makes people think like, oh, why would they choose you over someone else, right? And that's why it's so important to know that, okay, the more that you can leverage and step into your brand voice, your brand identity, your true authentic energy, your soulmate clients are going to be magnetized to that. It actually is that effortless. It actually is that easy. You just have to trust yourself and trust the process, because the reality is it's so much easier to just think, oh, I'm just going to use this template. I'm just going to follow this strategy. That's easy because it's outsourcing your power. But true impact and true scaling and truly creating the life that you desire, it doesn't come from that. Because like I said, if it did, more people would be successful, but it doesn't. Number 6. Oh my God. I have to admit, I can't believe I used to say that you didn't need a niche down. I used to talk about it all the time. And now I know, never speak to everyone. Because neutrality is the killer of magnetism. When you're neutral, you neither polarize against or for something. Your brand should repel as much as it attracts. If you're not turning people off, essentially you're not turning the right ones on. And if you're diluting your message just to people please or to not harm anyone or to not offend anyone, you're losing paying clients. So it's so important to really dial in on who specifically you're talking to. It's so important, because if you're talking to everyone, you're talking to no one. This is like marketing 101. If you're talking to everyone, you are talking to no one. So in order to shift out of that belief, I want you to remember, okay, every time that I am diluting my messaging, what I'm doing is actually repelling paying clients. We want to be more direct in what we're here to talk about, because that's what is going to attract people to want to work with us. Your brand should be really easy to identify. This is what you talk with. This is what what values you have and what you polarize against. Again, neutrality is the killer of magnetism. And it's so funny that I used to literally, I used to say, oh, I refuse to subscribe to niching down. And the funny thing is, the more that I've niched down, the more money that I've made. So there is just I've just dissolved that belief system. And the reason why I was afraid to niche down is because I was afraid that I would repel people. And I was afraid of what people would think. And the reality is no one really cares what you think. Yeah, they might speak up and be like, I don't agree with that. But at the end of the day, if they are, speaking up, they're not going to pay you anyway. So it doesn't really fucking matter. Number 7. This is perfectly flowing into number 7. Never filter your truth to be more digestible. You're here not to be liked, right? If you were, you probably would be making more money right now, because I guarantee you're probably still sugarcoating your content. You're here to be felt. The fastest way to be felt in your content is by speaking your truth. Because the reality is, filtered content creates filtered clients and filtered income. We don't want filtered income. We want an uncapped income. We want a full-blown, yummy 30K painful cash client. Ba-bam, right? How do you think you magnetize to that? It's definitely not by diluting your message, right? It's being in your truth, in your power, fully activated in your voice to be able to speak your truth. Because in that moment, you're actually magnetizing people to you. So, to finish up, I want to leave you with this. If you're building a personal brand, trying to be liked, accepted, or professional, you're going to stay invisible. If you want to learn how to fully activate your voice and fully come online with your soul's mission, this is exactly what I teach my clients inside the collective. This is my 12-month mastermind, and this is my personal invitation to you to really begin to think, okay, if I want to become and identify as the six-figure entrepreneur, what are the decisions and the actions that I need to take today? Do I need to put myself in a position to work with someone in a proximity who's going to expand my capacity, who's going to help me dial in on my content, who's going to help me activate my true power and my voice so I can come online and share my truth instead of hiding behind my fear of judgment, so I can come on and deliver potent content instead of hiding behind my people-pleasing tendencies. This is what I work with inside my clients, inside the collective. It is strategy, it is energetics, and it is all about building a personal brand so you can escape the matrix, you can live the freedom lifestyle, you can create a financially abundant lifestyle, and fully step into the version of you who you know that you're here to live. Because if the reality is, baby, if you're listening to this podcast, you already know that that life is available to you. Because you've listened to it, you're consuming it, your brain is starting to show you ways to move forward. And if you continue to ignore that, you're going to continue to perpetuate the same results. So this is my invitation for you to choose the better thinking thought, to choose a path forward. What decision can you make that is going to be able to change the pathway of what you're currently co-creating with your life? And if that's investing in me, if that's investing in another mentor, then this is your permission slip to just take the fucking leap of faith, because I guarantee you the universe will catch you. Because the reality is you have 100% success rate of being caught by the universe. So my babes, I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you for listening in to another episode on the Don't Sugarcoat It podcast. I am so excited to continue to spark these conversations and deliver to you the most magnetic, all spicy, no sugarcoating content on how to build a conscious life of freedom. Oh, how good. Anyway, guys, I'm going to pop off now. I'm going to love you and leave you. Bye.